Hello everyone, welcome to my first ever end of the month wrap up. I actually started reading quite a bit after school got done. I read a total I think of about 18 books, graphic novels and all. So without further ado, let's get started. I'm going to start with the mangas that I read this month, and then I will go into the actual YA books that I got into this month. And alright, the first manga that I read this month, in the month of May, was the first 2 volumes of Devil's Line by Ryu Hanada. And this I like to call, it's basically if it was Tokyo Ghoul except with vampires instead. There are these creatures that are called devils, and they are living in a world where there is a huge fear against devils, and this one girl, Tsukasa, meets a devil who saved her life from one of her friends that would have eventually attacked her, and then there's this blooming little romance that kind of happens. It's pure guilty pleasure for me. It takes me back to that time in my Twilight days, and honestly this is just a fun little read. It is basically though if Tokyo Ghoul threw up on the world of Millennium Snow. It's a lot of fun, solid 3 stars for me, even though it probably says 5 stars on my Goodreads, but pure guilty pleasure. I enjoyed these books, and they're not the best, but I love them. The next manga that I had gotten into is one that I've been kind of having an ongoing relationship with, and I hope to finish the rest of the series by this year, but the manga volumes are very expensive. Like 20 bucks for a manga, or just one manga, in my mind is very... I always have to think a little bit if these aren't gonna be impulse buys for me. But I've enjoyed every one of these volumes so far, and I should just show you what this is. And that is the Fruits Basket Collector's Edition by Natsuki Takia. My sister had actually recommended this series for me. She had actually read the entire thing, and I think my sister has actually read these volumes more than I have. But I've enjoyed these. These are so emotional. This series is about a young girl named Toru Honda who, to not put a burden on her family, decides to camp out and basically live homeless until renovations are done on her grandfather's house. And she decides that, but what she doesn't realize is that she's actually camping on the property of one of her classmates, who is kind of the hot guy or the prince of their class. He and his cousin offered to let Toru live with them until the renovations were finished, but she finds out that their entire family has a huge secret, that they are cursed, that when they are hugged by members of the opposite sex or extremely stressed out, they turn into the animals of the Chinese zodiac. And now, with that premise, it sounds exceedingly cute, but I will say the one thing with each of these volumes is it is emotional. You wouldn't think with such a cute premise that it is very emotional. They go through such family stress, there's such emotional stress. These kids, their parents will either abandon their kids or they'll completely accept them and be completely overprotective. So it's like you got problems on both sides, and I think each of the Zodiac members I've met has some sort of emotional baggage with them, especially the cat. Yes, the cat is not a member of the Chinese Zodiac, and that's actually a big part of his character. The cat, Kyo, I want to give him a big hug every time I see him because his backstory is very sad. Anywho, I cannot wait to get volume 8. I'm hoping to find volume 8 somewhere in my Barnes & Noble. I'm looking forward to seeing this series have its full closure because I need everything to be okay for these kids. Alright, and the last of my manga that I read this month, I actually did not think I was gonna read this many this month, and that was The Ancient Mage's Bride, volumes 1 through 7. Yeah, you can kind of see I'm missing volume 5. It's somewhere. I can't find it. And basically this is about our girl, The Ancient Mage's Bride, which is by Kore Yamazaki, and this is and this also has an anime. I mean, Fruits Basket also has an anime. Devil's Line, I think, is the only one that I've shown you that doesn't have an anime, at least that I know of. If anybody knows if Devil's Line has an anime, please tell me. I would like to watch it. The Ancient Mage's Bride is about our girl Chise. She should show you, yeah. I could probably show you the front cover of one. She's taken in by the mage Elias. This is him on the edge over here, and he wants to take her in as his apprentice, but he also reveals that he also wants to take her in as his bride at some point. And she's also introduced into this world where fairies, she can see fairies everywhere, and it's become very stressful for her, and it's caused a lot of negative problems on her life. And I did finish the anime this month, and actually I thought it was very, very good. The relationship between Elias and Chise is exceedingly cute, and seeing Chise blossom into this awesome character that she is was actually very rewarding to go through this series. I think the entire manga is, I think, 10 volumes, at least according to Goodreads. So and there's only 8 volumes out right now, so maybe I may get my hands on volume 8 at some point. I usually have a policy of not, if I read the manga, I have to finish, I can't go past where my manga is, otherwise the manga's not enjoyable for me. And I kind of broke my rule on that, so I'm not sure if there's much left for me to experience, but it's always interesting to see how different they are. I think it's always interesting to see how different the manga is compared to the anime. But yeah. So yeah, that was all the manga I read this month. So next we're gonna go into the first of the regular books that I read this, the first novels that I read this month. I did not think I was gonna finish the entire trilogy this month, but I did. And that is the Shadow and Bone trilogy by Leigh Bardugo. These are the newer covers, and I actually like these because they shine, and I think that all 3 of the volumes actually kind of relate to what their story's about, and I like these. I mean, the other covers were good. I like the other covers, but I like these ones better because I think they're a lot more colorful. So if you haven't heard of what this series is about, I would be genuinely shocked because these books are hyped all over booktube. This is about our girl, Alina Starkov, who discovers that she can wield magic and that she is a Grisha. Yeah, this was very good. It wasn't my favorite, and I think part of it was because of the hype. I still enjoyed this series overall for me, but I didn't find the world building just as really that interesting. I do plan to read the other books, the duology, the Six of Crows duology. I plan to read that. Hopefully I will get my hands on those next month, on my next Barnes & Noble run. No, I did enjoy this series overall. I actually grabbed the first book kind of on impulse, because I have like 3 copies of this book to try and make myself read it. Yeah, weird logic. Buy more books. Maybe it will make you read that book that's been sitting on your shelf for 5 years. But no, I read this first book within the first night. Like, I did the just one more chapter thing until I got to the end of the book. There's a lot of things I really liked about Leigh Bardugo's trilogy here, and there were things that I didn't like, but I think a lot of people, I was expecting more out of the series for how hyped it was, how many people said they loved it. I did love the Darkling, but I was hoping the world building was going to be a little stronger. But maybe I will get more of that in Six of Crows. I don't know. I think the ending of the series, I think, fit Alina's character, but it wasn't really one that I really liked. I mean, I get why Leigh Bardugo did it, but because it does make sense for Alina's character, but it is probably the perfect way to end the series, so that doesn't mean I have to like it. But yeah, this series was another solid 3 stars for me, but I do think Shadow and Bone was probably my favorite read of them all, which is probably sad because a lot of people will probably say that the series got better, but the series kind of, after book 1, started to focus on something and I just could not get behind the romance. I'm gonna stop, otherwise we'll be here all day. And The other books that I didn't expect to read this month was the entire the entire series of the entire A Court of Thorns and Roses trilogy. Yes, I actually read this is really hard. I actually did read A Court of Thorns and Roses actually on audiobook because it just, I knew at the beginning of the month, I gotta put this right here. This works. I read this entire series over the month, I think. Rereading some of these, I couldn't, it's sad that I read this series over a year ago, but I think I was like right at the beginning of the year last year, and I read so many books within that time that I could not remember some of the events that happened in these two. It was so fun rereading these. Let's see, I'm gonna just put, I can see why people weren't the biggest fans of this book. I can understand that. I'm kind of, no, it's, I like to, it's like not a lot of things were resolved, a lot of things were introduced, but yeah, it's, I mean, honestly, this probably could have been a new part of the next book. Kind of, maybe, maybe not. But yeah, I'm looking forward to the next book because I want to see how our yeah, but I'm looking forward. This was probably a good 3 stars for me. I can understand why people thought this book sucked. I enjoyed it. It was a good book for me. I don't know when this book came out because I found it in the bookstore, so this could have been out probably around Christmas, but I have no idea. But I don't know. But yes, this was a lovely read for me and I loved it. I'm petting it right now. And I do like the cover. Yeah, I don't think it's as pretty as some of the other ones, at least not as far as the backgrounds go, but I do love Farah's dress in this. I do like this cover. I'm sorry. Thanks to this series, I've found a reason to look at my Pinterest more because I've been looking up fae sand memes all over there's some wonderful, wonderful fae sand and inner circle memes all over Pinterest and I love it. And the last book, technically, this is one of my first June reads, but I thought I'd include it with this wrap up just because. And I kind of bought this one on impulse as well, and I thought it'd be fun. And that is This Savage Song by Victoria Schwab. I had heard basically nothing about this, but when I found out that it was actually very music related, or at least had a lot of music references in it and had a character who loved music, I had to. This book is about our 2 protagonists, Kate Harker and August Flynn, and they live in a city that is divided between monsters and humans. August Flynn is a human called a Sunai. Sunai actually can take the souls of sinners with using a song. And Katie is the daughter of a powerful, basically the protector of the humans. And I honestly enjoyed this overall. This was a good 4 stars for me. I actually am planning to continue to read the second book, the last book. This book surprised me in a lot of ways. I'm hoping to do an entire review on this book at some point. This will be, hopefully, will be my first review on this channel. Honestly, there were some storytelling choices that I actually really admire. Victoria Schwab was a good read for me. I enjoyed it. The world building left a little bit to be desired to me. I don't know, I'm not saying it in a bad way, but it's just like I'm getting to the point where I want more world building. But Victoria Schwab actually kept her story very focused, and actually I gotta applaud her for that. Not have entire chapters just dedicated to world building. I gotta save this for my review. But yeah, this was a solid 4 out of 5 stars for me. I actually really liked it, and I hope to finish the rest of the series here next month. Well, finish the sequel. Yeah, those were all the books that I read in May of 2018. This was actually kind of fun. It actually wasn't as hard as I thought it would be. And I hope you guys enjoyed, and I figure this is going to be a learning experience for me, so I've had a lot of fun making this. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Goodbye!